Yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, my number one is Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Oh yeah.
Gods Amongst Us? Gods Among Us.
Among
Us.
yeah.
Among. So I played a fair bit. I'm doing the review for it for Games TM. The game's actually out this weekend. They're really late with review builds for some reason. But yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of Mortal Kombat 9, as were you, and this just seems to kind of take that back and run with it, really. I've really enjoyed what I've played so far. They've, if you don't know what it is, it's DC characters fighting each other. There's no Mortal Kombat characters, but it's made by the Mortal Kombat people. Like Mortal Kombat, there's a extensive story mode, which is fucking pure ham, and I'm enjoying it a lot. There's like the Challenge Tower, which is in Mortal Kombat. It's called like Star Challenge or something in this. All the stuff that was in Mortal Kombat's in here, but the online is much smoother straight off the bat as well. But yeah, I guess the fighting system is similar to Mortal Kombat in the way the combos work and things like that, but there's some fundamental differences. One being that it's not a button to block. It's now back to block, which if you play a lot of fighting games, is actually it's one of those things that sounds like nothing if you don't play fighting games, but it's actually a really big difference to how almost everything works. In the basic combat, you've got light attack, medium attack, and heavy attack. That's it. It's really simple and easy to play, but there's loads of interesting and kind of crazy stuff in the game as well, isn't there? Like you can interact with the backgrounds quite a lot, so there's stuff that you can grab and smash into the other person. You can kind of kick them through the wall at the edge of some of the levels and you'll fly through and they'll smash to a different part of the level. That looks great. And then you can build up your meter and hit a special. It's not like Street Fighter where you have to do a complicated thing. You just tug both shoulder buttons. You have to time it right, and otherwise it can be blocked. But all of those like crazy things will fucking happen. Like Aquaman brings in all this water, then this giant shark just appears and eats them. They're genuinely pretty funny, all of them that I've seen. And it just flows nicely and it plays nicely. There's a few other clever systems in there with this thing called like a wager or clash or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're dying, you can like use clash to counter a move, and then you'll go into this thing called a wager where you bet a certain chunk of your meter against the other person's, and whoever bet the most will win. So you'll either regain a bunch of health or lose some, depending. No, I think it's just to regain some health if you're losing. But obviously you could bet all your meter on doing it, but then you're going to win. You're going to get some health back, but you've got no meter. So it's all balancing, that sort of stuff. Real stuff for people who know their fighting games and know that they're sort of familiar with concepts of meters and can start wrapping their heads around different ways that they could be incorporated into a new fighting system. None of it's complicated, but it is for people who play these games. And I just think it's really good. It's not as good as Super Street Fighter 4, but I'm really enjoying what I'm playing so far. And that story is just cracking, man. It's fucking daft. It is so daft.
But the story in the most recent Mortal Kombat was pretty fucking stupid as well. But that's great as well.
It's just the same amount of cheese. It's actually weirdly similar to Bioshock Infinite. It's all about it's about infinite universes and moving into an alternate universe where one thing changed and now Superman's gone evil and he's like basically this dictatorial leader of the world, and all the heroes, and then there's evil versions. It's just a really complicated way of making mirror matches make sense, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you play like 3 or 4 fights as one character, and you'll move through lots of different characters. It's done in cutscenes, and then it'll move to the side like in Mortal Kombat, and you start fighting. It's just really cool. It's a really cool way of playing a single player fighting game. No other games apart from MK have ever done it, and it's way better than your standard single player, which nobody ever bothers playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the game's really cool. It kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I knew it was there and existed, but because of the DC versus MK game wasn't very good in my mind, for some reason I just assumed this wasn't going to be very good either. But it is actually really good.
I played it for the best part of an hour, but so I won't speak too much about it. But it reminded me, for one thing, that I forgot. You sometimes forget how good that last Mortal Kombat game was. And this is based on it to the extent where sometimes, Wonder Woman, besides looking a bit too masculine, she has the same kind of she moves and she has the same kind of stance as Cabal. There are a lot of similarities where you can say they probably modelled that a little bit on that so-and-so character and stuff. That's fine. I didn't understand wages, so I'm going to have to go back and have a look and see what those were, because that happened to me at the end of a couple of fights where it would say wager and there'd be 4 buttons there, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And
I did the tutorial and it explained it reasonably well.
Okay. It's really in depth as well. I mean, did you see that they've got those the frame breakdown in the menu, so you can see the hit advantage or the number of recovery frames, the block advantage and stuff, so you can genuinely measure up what moves would beat what and when. But you could ignore that and stuff. It's not really an issue, but the Mortal Kombat the Mortal Kombat equivalent of ultras and super moves, which this game has as well. What are they called? Are they just called specials?
Or like super moves or something.
Yeah. They're some of them last quite long. You're watching a clip of like 10 seconds, maybe, in that sort of area.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat ones could get away with it because it never really got tiresome, because they were so over the top brutal. That's Mortal Kombat. But the Street Fighter ones, they got tiresome after a while, and they were almost always less than 5 seconds long.
There's going to be a problem, I think.
Yeah, I was like watching. One really made me laugh. I can't remember who I was fighting, but someone grabbed me and basically flew through the centre of the earth. Dragged me all the way to the other side and then back in or something. But I was like, that's really amusing, but I don't know if I'm going to want to sit there for 10 seconds again every time that move.
It's the same when you kick someone through the side of the level into the next level. Sometimes that can take. It's really fun to watch and funny, but I'd imagine for the 50th time they might patch that stuff out a little bit.
Yeah. But aside from that, as I started to get to grips with what the buttons were and stuff, it's really simple, and in that great way. Is the multiplayer? Have you tried multiplayer yet?
I've played a bit online, yeah.
Does it have the same system where you have the little avatars watching what's going on?
Yeah.
It does. Awesome. Because
Yeah.
that's one of the best lobby systems that I've ever seen. Cool. I'm hoping that some of my mates get it, because I think we could get really stuck into this. Looks really, really damn good. Are you going to play it some more, I take it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'll be keeping hold of it, like MK, because we got a fair old amount of time into that.
Yeah, no doubt. And this looks, it could be on a par with it. I'm looking forward to playing some more, so I'll speak about it next week.
Yeah, a pleasant surprise.